everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Mackenzie Nelson if you are new here, and if you haven't caught yourself up with what I've been up to, I backpacked all the way from Mexico down to Peru in the past 6 months, and it was an absolute crazy time. And now I'm back in California and it's raining and it's cold and I just wish I could be back in the sun. So I thought I would give you guys some information on backpacking Peru. Peru is such a beautiful and diverse country. There's so much to do. I want to give the biggest tip though and bring some hiking shoes. Because I was on a 6-month journey and majority of the time I wasn't hiking, I didn't bring hiking shoes and I only had tennis shoes that got really run down. I had to hunt down some new tennis shoes just to do a few hikes. Bring hiking shoes that you love and that fit your feet good, and you will thank me later. But back to Peru, I really want to give you guys a good itinerary for your backpacking trip in Peru. I came from Ecuador from the far north and enter Peru through the land border, but you might be flying into Lima, then go all the way up to the north and then just start and make your way down from there, or you could just do the southern part and skip forward in this video. So I crossed over the border from Ecuador and I went straight to Mancora. Mancora was beautiful and sunny and hot. Quite the party town though, which I was not expecting. I was coming from a lot of adventures in Ecuador and I wanted like a very chill place to stay, and although Mancora was chill for me, it was very known for its parties and I just did not catch that memo. It was great though. I recommend staying at the Point Mancora hostel, and then I was ready to get to my hiking, so I went all the way to Trujillo, which is where you could go to Huachaco, which is a very small town right outside of Trujillo, to go surfing. I did not do this. I stayed in a hostel. I forgot the name. It started with a Y. I'll put it right here. I was just there for a stopover because what I really wanted to get to was Huaraz. This is an overlooked destination for backpackers, but when you go to Peru, make sure that you go to Huaraz. It was my favorite place in Peru, I think. Like, it was amazing. I met amazing people, a lot less tourists than traditional Cusco. I stayed in the Alps Huaraz hostel, which was amazing. I totally recommend it. They have a tour desk there with somebody who helps you sign up for all of the hikes, all of the tours that you want to do in Huaraz, and they're very affordable. I do recommend doing that. The pricing isn't much different from what you would find in town. It's pretty similar and they pick you up right at the hostel. With that being said, there are so many hikes that you could do in Huaraz. Like, it's almost endless. I know some people who spent their entire time in Peru or almost a month in Huaraz didn't get to do all the hikes that they wanted to do. I am not a huge hiker, and again, I only had tennis shoes. I did Laguna 69 hike, which is like one of the most famous ones that you could do. It's a really pretty hike up to this glacier lagoon. It's gorgeous and stunning. It will take your breath away because of the altitude and because of the views. And then I think it was the following day, which was really rough. I definitely suggest planning out your hikes in between days. I did this hike the next day and I was exhausted, but it was Mount Mateo, which was a climbing hike, so with picks and crampons, and which is something I've never done before, so it was quite the experience and I'm so glad that I did that. Definitely pushed me so much. The altitude was so hard to get by. One of my favorite things I have ever done was climb Mount Mateo. The views at the top were stunning. If you're like me at all, the adrenaline and the pushing yourself to your limit will make it all worth it. And then I just spent my days in Huaraz walking around town. It's a gorgeous little town, before then getting a night bus to Lima. So I actually kept going forward from Lima, so I didn't stay, but I did come back around at the end, but I'm just gonna mention it now. I also stayed in the Alps Lima hostel in Kennedy Park. This was an amazing hostel. I definitely recommend it. They had like a jacuzzi on the rooftop. It was great central location, a bar top where it's so easy to meet friends. If you watched my last vlog in my entire series in Peru, you will learn that I went through some unfortunate events in Lima, so I didn't really get to explore the town, but I really wish I got an opportunity to do some kind of walking tour, but I will be back for sure. So after Lima, I made my way to the southern part of Peru to Huacachina. Now this is a really famous desert oasis. It is gorgeous. It is like none other. This oasis sits in the middle of a ton of sand dunes, so you can imagine what popular activity to do here is sandboarding and sand duning, where you ride on these buggies through the sand. And it's just a really cool town. I have a whole vlog on this where I talked about it being a little touristy, but for a reason it was amazing and a vacation spot for a lot of Peruvians as well. To get to Huacachina, you have to go to this town called Ica, where you can easily get a 20-minute taxi to the desert oasis for very cheap. And after Huacachina, I made my way back to Ica and then out to go to Arequipa. I spent almost a week in Arequipa. There's so much to do in the surrounding of the town. I did a tour out to the salt flats in Peru, which I didn't even know existed before I went. We also went to a lot of hot springs around the town of Arequipa. And then the following day, I went to the Colca Canyon, which is a popular hike you could do as well, but I was very hiked out at this point. So I just did the day tour down into the Colca Canyon, and that was totally worth it as well. You got to see a lot of the culture and you got to see a lot of the condors fly, which is so cool. I've never seen a condor before. And in Arequipa town, if you watch my vlog, I had lots of plans to do a cooking class, a walking tour, and it all failed. Arequipa town was gorgeous, so I just took the time to walk around myself, create a own little walking tour myself, and that turned out great. If you're anywhere in a new city, I recommend just walking around, jumping on a free walking tour, and just getting your bearings of the city. When I was in Arequipa, I stayed at the Flying Dog Hostel. This was a really chill, very cool hostel. I got lots of recommendations for it, and I'm so glad that I stayed there. It was a cute little hostel. If you want any details on any of these tours that I did all throughout Peru, I do have videos on every little place I went in Peru and on my entire 6-month trip. So make sure you subscribe now, like and comment on this video, and check out my page for more of those vlogs. From Arequipa, I went to Cusco, the famous Cusco everybody is waiting for me to mention in this vlog. Cusco was full of tourists, but I see why. It was such a cool little town. I loved it, and there was some really cool tours that you could do in Cusco, which I didn't even get to do a fraction of them, but two of the popular ones being Machu Picchu and Rainbow Mountain. I was quite sick when I was in Cusco. I definitely suggest doing a walking tour in Cusco. You can find the guys with the umbrellas in the center of town in the Plaza de Armas, and they are great. They go into so much detail about the Inca religion and culture. It was so worth doing, and a popular thing to do in Cusco is try alpaca meat or guinea pig meat. I happened to try the alpaca burger, and I hate to say that it tasted really good. When in Peru, I guess you gotta try the local cuisine, right? Towards the end of my stay in Cusco, I got a tattoo that I love so much. It's one of my favorite tattoos that I have now. And I also went out and had a great night at the bars, but ended up getting my phone stolen, which has never happened to me on a trip before. I still don't even know how it happened. I think they quite literally just took it out of my purse or my back pocket. So I am really grateful on the timing and that I do have the resources to get a new phone and to contact my family and everything. But it did really suck to have that happen when they clearly see that you are a traveler and you don't live there, and it's in a country where you can't just easily get a new phone, and they still take advantage of you like that and just steal it from your person, from your body. That just makes me really upset. I'm somewhat over it now. Just make sure that you watch your belongings and lock up all your stuff, because you can never really know who to trust. Just be careful out there. I want to give a few tips for backpacking Peru. One, about transportation. Transportation in Peru was one of the easiest countries I've ever gotten a bus in. They had a lot of overnight buses because the journeys in between the major towns were so big. But that worked out in my favor because I don't mind overnight buses. I actually think it's a great backpacker hack to get an overnight bus, because then you save a whole night on accommodation and you get to wake up in a new location. I think I took a total of 5 overnight buses, and they were all amazing, so comfortable. You could always ask your hostel where the nearest bus station is, and they have so many different kinds of companies with different prices, so make sure you shop around. These are the best buses that I took, and Cruz del Sur was my favorite overall. Next, I want to mention that you should have a little knowledge of Spanish, confidence to speak Spanish. Always try your best. The locals will appreciate it so much if you could just say a simple gracias or hola to them. They love it, and it will get you so far if you just try. Next, I wanted to go into budget. Peru was a very affordable country, not the cheapest one I've been to, but very affordable considering I did quite a few tours and Machu Picchu itself, which was quite pricey. Looking at my travel spend app now, I only spent about $46 each day in Peru, and I was there for a whole month. So I stayed under budget, and that made me very happy. You could definitely do it a lot cheaper. I stayed at nicer hostels, I went out to eat with friends, and I didn't really shy away because it was my last destination on my entire trip. Anyways guys, that was a very quick guide to backpacking Peru with the best hostels, budget, and things to do. I hope you have an amazing time in Peru and stay safe. Make sure to subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. It will really support my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!